Pecco Bagnaia arrived at the Japanese Grand Prix in Motegi with heavy doubts clouding his mind. The Italian, once the standard-bearer for Ducati's hopes, is enduring a campaign that has slipped dramatically out of his grasp. A dismal outing at Misano, a circuit where he usually dominates, left him pointless and searching for answers, triggering fresh concern about the trajectory of his season. The post-race test at Misano offered a glimmer of optimism. Working under the guidance of Ducati legend Casey Stoner and supported by Manuel Poggiali, Bagnaia explored new directions for the GP25. Stoner's brutally honest feedback and unique outsider's perspective gave Ducati engineers and technicians a much-needed alternative angle. Bagnaia admitted that Stoner's sharp observations resonated with the issues he has been feeling, offering the team not only technical clarity, but also a psychological boost. Still, arriving in Motegi, the Italian cut a cautious figure. "I go to every circuit doubting whether things will work or not," Bagnaia confessed. "The only goal I have now is to rediscover that feeling on the bike. If I experience the same problems as before, then this track will become a nightmare." His words painted a clear picture of a rider at war with himself and with a machine that refuses to cooperate. Adding to his complex situation is the shadow of Marc Marquez, his Ducati stablemate. On Sunday, Marquez could seal a historic 9th world title, needing just a handful of points to clinch the crown. For Bagnaia, though, Marquez's dominance is neither a source of jealousy nor distraction. It is a harsh reminder of what he has failed to achieve. "Marc has been untouchable this season," Pecco admitted candidly. "No one has been able to challenge him. I regret not being there to fight with him. I know my potential, and that's what makes it painful. I've wasted an entire season." This brutal honesty exposes the reality of Bagnaia's year. From the outside, his campaign looks like a collapse, but from within, it is the result of a perfect storm: a lack of confidence, mechanical struggles, and an inability to adapt as Marquez raised the bar. His acknowledgement that Marquez may not even have shown his full strength in every race underlines just how far ahead the Spaniard has been. For a rider as proud and talented as Bagnaia, the frustration of watching rather than fighting must be immense. Bagnaia's admission that his season is effectively lost is both sobering and revealing. It signals not just the struggles of 2025, but a psychological battle that could define his future. Riders of his caliber rarely concede so openly that they are beaten. It is an insight into the scale of Ducati's internal crisis with the #63 camp. What stands out, however, is Bagnaia's resilience in seeking solutions. Bringing in Stoner was more than a PR exercise. It was a calculated move to inject fresh perspective into a project that had grown stagnant. Stoner's comments, echoed by Poggiali, validated Bagnaia's complaints and gave engineers a rider's eye confirmation that data alone could not provide. If Ducati acts on this feedback, it could lay the foundations for a revival. Meanwhile, Marquez's dominance has created an unusual dynamic. Bagnaia is not bitter, he is almost philosophical, acknowledging that Marc is simply operating on another level. The Italian's challenge now is not to match Marquez in the short term, but to rebuild his own confidence and rhythm, ensuring that when an opportunity arises, he is ready to strike. The 2025 season may already be gone for Pecco Bagnaia, but his words and actions suggest that the fight for redemption has already begun. For Ducati, the question is whether they can deliver him the tools to fight, or whether the red garage will continue to be ruled by the man in the opposite corner, Marc Marquez. For Bagnaia, the most painful element of this year has not been losing races. It has been the loss of identity. Once known as a rider with iron consistency and calm execution, he now finds himself making mistakes, questioning settings, and entering every weekend without certainty. This erosion of self-belief is far more damaging than any single poor result, and it is something only he can rebuild. Motegi, in that sense, could not come at a more critical time. The Japanese circuit is unforgiving, demanding precision on the brakes and stability in acceleration, two areas where Bagnaia has struggled most this season. A strong result here would not rescue his championship, but it could prove to be a psychological lifeline, convincing him and his team that they are not as far adrift as results suggest. The Italian's words about Marquez also reflect a subtle but important dynamic within Ducati. Publicly, Bagnaia praises his teammates' untouchable season, but privately there must be frustration at watching Marquez extract speed from the same machine while he flounders. This inner comparison is inevitable, and it could spark deeper questions about development direction within the Ducati camp, whether Marquez's feedback is shaping the bike in ways that don't necessarily suit Bagnaia's riding style. Another factor is the mental strain of being constantly measured against a legend. For Bagnaia, every lap is scrutinized not only by rivals and media, but also against the performance of the man across the garage. That pressure, amplified by his own championship pedigree, makes every failure to match Marquez feel like a defeat beyond the stopwatch. Yet Bagnaia has shown in the past that he thrives when his back is against the wall. His comeback campaigns in previous seasons prove that he possesses the resilience to bounce back from adversity. The question is not whether he can return to winning ways, it is how long Ducati will give him the space to rediscover himself while Marquez continues to rack up wins and titles. In the grand scheme, Bagnaia's struggles add drama to a MotoGP season already dominated by one man. His story is a reminder that even the most talented riders are human, subject to doubt, misfortune, and the relentless march of progress from their rivals. For fans, his candid confessions and search for answers make him not just a racer but a compelling character, one whose journey to redemption could be every bit as dramatic as the battles fought on track. What lies ahead for Bagnaia is a test of both character and adaptability. MotoGP careers are often defined not by victories alone, by how a rider responds when stripped of confidence and momentum. If Bagnaia can harness the lessons from this bruising campaign, the scars of 2025 may yet become the foundations of a stronger, sharper competitor in the seasons to come. For now, the spotlight shines on Marquez and his march toward history, but in the shadows, Bagnaia's struggle could prove just as significant. Because when a rider of his caliber finds the fire again, the championship picture can change overnight. And MotoGP may yet be preparing for one of its fiercest rivalries in years.